Hi ma'am, I'm Gandhi Muthuchelvi from group number 375 and I'm going to explain about the palpation, percussion and auscultation of the lungs and heart, and also I'm going to explain about the abdominal examination. So now we are going to do the palpation of the chest. For that, first we have to click on the supraclavicular halos on both the sides, clavicles on both the sides, subclavicle on both the sides, and on the ribs and intercostal area. First intercostal ribs and second intercostal ribs, and the muscularis pectoris minor, muscularis pectoris major, and on the sternum. Then we have to ask the patient to turn back on the back side to suprascapular area on both the sides, and the interscapular area on both the sides, and scapular area on both the sides, and subscapular area on both the sides, and the paravertebralis line and the vertebralis line. So next we are going to see the voice sampling of the patient. For that we have to ask the patient to spell some words like rock and roll. Can you please tell rock and roll?
Rock and roll.
The second question.
Rock and roll.
And then we have to ask the patient to turn backwards. Please say, continue.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
So next we are going to do the percussion. For the percussion, there is two types of percussion. One is comparative and another is topographical. Now we are going to do the comparative percussion. For comparative percussion, we have to tap by 2 times. So first on the suprascapular fossa on both the sides. Straight another, and on the clavicle area, and on the subscapular area, and 1 centimeter from the sternum, the first intercostal interval, and on the second intercostal interval, and on the third intercostal interval. So next we have to ask the patient to put his hands backwards on his head, and then we have to check on the vertical on the axillaris line, on the medial axillaris line, anterior axillaris line, medial axillaris line, Then we have to ask the patient to turn backwards, and then we have to check on the suprascapular area, on the interscapular area, and on the subscapular area. To do the topographical percussion. For doing the topographical percussion, first we have to find the upper border of the lungs. For finding the upper border of the lungs, first we have to check it from the clavicle. We have to check it from the sound changing, like from clear sound to dull sound. Here the sound is changing to dull sound, so we have to mark this point, and then we have to check it from the back side on the scapular area. From the suprascapular area, we have to move it to front until the sound changes to dull sound. So here the sound changes to dull sound, and we have to mark this point, and then we have to ask the patient to slightly incline his head and then this point, it is corresponding to the C7 vertebra. Then next we have to find the lower border of the lungs. For that we have to start percuss from the first intercostal area. After the sound changes from clear to dull sound. So here the sound changes to the dull sound. So we have to mark this point, and this point, it corresponds to this point, it corresponds to the seventh rib, and it is anterior axillaris line. And then we have to ask the patient to turn backside, and then we have to first we have to find the angle of scapula, and then we have to start percussing from the clear to dull sound. So here the sound changes to dull sound. So we have to mark this point, and this is corresponds to the 10th rib, and it is by scapularis line. So next is about auscultation of the lungs. So usually it is auscultation of lungs is performed to hear the sound from the chest. So this auscultation, it is usually we have to ask the patient, we have to first of all position the patient, like we have to ask the patient to sit in a chair or by this, or we have to ask the patient to lay down on a bed, and like we have to check for auscultation, we have to perform it on all the sides, on the anterior and the posterior sides. So first, and the auscultation, we will use a step ladder approach. So this step ladder approach, it is usually done on the anterior side, and it shows it's symmetrical, and then on the posterior side we have to do the auscultation, and we have to avoid the scapular region. We have to repeat it on the left side, which is at the upper and lower lobe. And during the auscultation of the anterior chest, we have to start it from the top of the chest at the first intercostal space, and we have to finish it by 7th intercostal space. And on the posterior side, usually we will start it from the first intercostal space, and on the which finish it up to the 7th rib, from 7th intercostal space. And in the right radial side, we will do the auscultation. We will usually move from the peak of axilla between 7th and also the or 8th rib, or either on both right and left side. So next we are going to do the palpation of the heart. For palpation of the heart, first we have to find the apex bit point. For finding the apex bit point, we have to ask the patient to incline slightly forward, and then we have to put our hand on the heart, heart, and then we have to wait for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we have to move our finger forwards, and then we have to mark this point. So usually the property of the apex bit point, it is about 1 to 1.5 centimeter inwards from the left medial clavicularis line, and its height is resistant is non-resistant height, and strength is in the middle level. And next we have to check the diastolic and systolic trembling. For that we have to keep our hand horizontally on the pectoralis minoris muscle. We have to keep our hand on the heart. Normally trembling is not present here. Then next is we have to check for systolic trembling. For this we have to keep our hand vertically on the second intercostal interval. For this usually the trembling is absent. And then next we have to check for the heartbeat. We have to keep our hand on the third and fourth intercostal interval. Normally it is not palpated. And then we have to check for the radial pulse. We have to check the radial artery. We have to keep our fingers on the radial artery and check. Usually it is the normal radial pulse rate is 60 to 90. So we have to observe for the radial pulse in the patient, and it should be symmetrical and rhythmical. For this percussion of heart, we have to find the right border, lower border, upper border of the heart. first we have to find the right border of the heart. For that, first of all, we have to find the lower border of the lungs. We have to start percussing from the first intercostal interval, from the clear sound till the sound change to dull sound. So here the sound is changing to the dull sound. So from this area, we have to go, it corresponds to 6th rep. We have to go 1 centimeter up, 1 intercostal interval upwards. So we have to then we have to start percussing from here towards the sternum up to the sound change. So here the sound becomes dull, and it is 1 to 1.5 centimeter outwards to the sternum. So this is the right border of the heart. So next we have to find the upper border of the heart. For that, we have to start percussing from the first intercostal interval, from the clear to dull sound. So here the sound changes. So we have to mark this point, and this is about 1 centimeter outward from the sternum on the third intercostal interval. So next we have to find the left border of the heart. For that, we have to find the apex bit by palpation, and then we have to go by media axillaries line, and then we have to start percussing towards the sternum. So starts percussing towards the sternum. So here the sound changes. We have to mark this point, and this point it is about 1 to 1.5 centimeter inwards from the clavicularis line. So this is the lower border of the lungs. Then we have to ask the patient to keep his hand. And this is the borders of the heart. This is the upper border and right border and left border. Auscultation of the heart. Further we have 5 points. First is the apex big point. This is the apex big point. Here there is a mitral valve, and second is the second intercostal interval point, and here it is the aortal wall, and on the right side. So on the corresponding to the second intercostal interval on the left side, there is the pulmonary arteries. On the fourth point, it is the end of the sternum. So here there is the tricuspid valve, and the fifth point is Botkin end point, which corresponds to third and fourth intercostal interval. Here it is the Botkin end point. Usually in the apex bit point, the first sound is larger than the second sound, and here the second sound is larger than the first sound, and in the left side of the second sound is larger than the first sound, and here in the end of the sternum, the first sound is usually larger than the second sound, and the Botkin end point, the first and second sound is usually equal. So next is I'm going to explain about the abdominal examination. So usually in the abdominal examination, we will do 2 types of palpation, like superficial palpation and the deep palpation. Generally, this superficial palpation, it is used to define painful areas and the areas affected by spontaneous and post-operational hernias. So usually we divide the abdomen into 3 parts, like epigastrium, mesogastrium and hypochondrium. So generally, by side of straight muscles, we will divide for the abdomen into 9 parts, like regia hypochondria dextra, and regia epigastrica propria, and regia hypochondria sinistra, and the regia abdominalis lateralis dextra, and regia umbilicalis, and regia abdominalis lateralis sinistra, and regia iliaca dextra, and regia suprapubica, and regia iliaca sinistra. Usually we start palpation from regia iliaca sinistra, and we will continue and we will start doing the superficial palpation by lightly pressing into these 9 areas, and and we will end up in the region suprapubica. So next, deep palpation of the abdomen. For the deep palpation of the abdomen, first of all we will ask the patient to deeply take a breath, and we have to make a skin fold, and then we have to start dividing forwardly when the patient breathes in, and then we have to divide it by 3 steps, like we have to move our hand forwardly and also backwardly to observe the intestine, and when the patient breathes out we have to take our hand outside in the opposite direction. So usually the orders of palpating are blind gut, that is cecum, and ascending colon, and the transverse colon, descending colon, and the sigmoid colon. So usually we will use a bimanual palpation for palpating the ascending transverse colon and the descending colon. So next is the palpation of the liver. Usually for palpating the liver, we will use the quiet percussion, and we will use a bimanual palpation method. First of all, we have to ask the patient to take a deep breath, and we have to make a skin fold, and we will make a skin fold, and we will divide it by the 3 steps, and we will palpate the liver's apex. And also we have to go out from the palpate region into the opposite direction. Usually there are 4 properties of the apex of the liver, that is sharp, angled, and it is smooth, and it should be painless and mild. So we have by defining the apex of liver by percussion, first we will start percussing along the iliac line from the clear sound to the sound changes to dull sound, and we will start percussing by the media clavicularis line downwards, which from the clear sound to dull sound, and the distance between these 2 mark points will be normally 9 minus 1 centimeter. And the next is from the marking point, and we have to start percussing along the white line. So from the along the white line upwards, from the clear to dull sound, and usually the distance between the mark point, first mark point, and this second mark point should be of about 8 plus 1 centimeter. And the third step is we have to percuss along the non-visible line from this and the distance between the second mark point and usually it is second copied point, and we have to start percussing from the dull to clear sound. The distance should be 7 minus 1 centimeter.